Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. 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 Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
So yeah, that was it. That was the whole the song sound, and it's not really that complicated actually once you see the project here. So it begins right here with I sampled this flute from Omnisphere, I think, if I'm not mistaken. There was a flute preset that I used for this project, and I just recorded four notes on it. Sorry, it was 6. So I was just recording 6 notes of the flute, and then I bounce it to the WAV stems because Omnisphere is a really heavy plugin. So yeah, I managed to bounce it into a WAV track here, and a simple percussion here and there. Really straightforward, nothing fancy processing whatsoever. And I think I got a little vocal chop here. Hear how it sounds if I solo the track. I think it was in this channel. Yeah, just simple EQing and reverb. And by the way, I use mostly the factory plugin from FL Studio. I rarely use third-party plugins because I think the built-in plugins from FL Studio 11 is already pretty great. So I don't think that I need any third-party plugins such as Waves or CLA or Fab Filter, because I think the factory plugin already does the job for me. So hello, Trevor. Yeah, I will talk about the mastering later on when I finish talking about the drop here.
Don't pick up the phone.
And for this don't pick up the phone part,
Don't pick up the phone.
it consists of kicks, obviously, and I think this was the same percussion I used in the first part here. Oh no, it's different, but it's from the same sample pack, I guess. Yeah, it's from Hangpan, and the same flute sample here.
Don't pick up the phone.
And the side bass right here. This is the same bass that I use for the drop right here. I think it's here. Yeah, it's the same as the one I used in the first part right here. So, and then here's the vocal.
Don't pick up the phone.
It's actually one of my friend's vocal. Yeah, shout out to her. Her name is Julita. She is the best friend. She is a good friend of mine, and actually I recorded her voice on my iPhone, so the original sound would sound like this. Wait. Let me turn off the FX.
Don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, that's how it sounds. And this is the just let it ring part.
Don't pick up. Just let it ring.
Yes, yeah, I just used iPhone's mic because I think it's already pretty dope if you want to record just like a rap vocals or mumble rap vocals or just like spoken vocals like this, because it already does the job. And then
Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up.
Yeah, I think the whole song was the whole song idea was started because I was thinking about women talking about don't pick up the phone, just let it ring. And I had one friend who was a really great English speaker, and I asked her to help me out about this, and it sounded great, so I just continued from there on until I finished the track. And this is the second part of the verse. Just a couple small changes here. I layered the flute with another sample of the flute, but
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer in every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
But I pitch it one octave lower, so it sounds like this. I layered with the original flute. And another more percussion samples. And hi-hats, I guess. Where did I put the hi-hats? Wait. I think it's this one. Yeah, it's this one.
Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
And here's the build-up part. It's really a simple build-up for EDM, I guess. It's nothing much. Just a bunch of riser effects I put here. This one. And this one. And couple loops. Just to build up the energy before the drop. Oh, I think I made a riser here that I made from serum, I guess, if I'm not mistaken. Wait, let me check. Yeah, I made the build-up synth from serum. I guess it's a preset from, I don't know what preset is this. I guess it's from Eco Soundworks. I don't know. I downloaded it like maybe like 5 years ago or 4 years ago, back when I used to do a lot of sound designing. So yeah, I think so what I do a lot when it comes to build up is just put a reverb in one channel, maybe like a synth or a snare, and put a reverb from on and off like this, like the claps. So like the claps would be having like a washing effect, if you know what I mean. Like this one, I'm gonna show you here. Wait. This one. Yeah, I create a lot of washing effects a lot with my tracks for the build up part, because I think it gives a lot of like hyping up the energy kind of feel. And then we move to the pre-drop fill right here.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi. Terima kasih telah menghubungi.
I actually sampled this vocal. Wait, it's this one.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi.
The original sample sounds like this. It's actually a sample I found in YouTube. It's in Indonesian though, so I guess some of you might not understand it.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi pelayanan pelanggan. Anda telah menghubungi kami.
It's like the sound that you get when you call someone, but they're rejecting your call. Yeah, but it's in Indonesian, so I think it was dope, so I used it.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi.
And just layers of drums. I use a lot of Taiki in the light sample from that I get from Slice, so shout out to him. And here's one also, sample from Taiki.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi.
And yeah, let's move to the drop part here. So it's actually not really that complicated, at least for me though, because it's just the sound designing itself is really simple. I think it's only like a sine wavetable here. Wait, let me solo the track. You can like use my preset if you like. You can copy the knobs, some shit like that. So what I do is just, I think this was a preset from Virtual Riot or somebody else, I can't remember, and I just like tweak the knobs here and there until it sounds like this. To be honest with you, I'm not really into like sound designing, because I'm more of a sample kind of guy. So it was like a happy accident kind of moment. I was like randomly twisting the knobs here and there of other people's presets, and yeah, luckily I found this sound that I think it was dope. And it was pitched from +3 semitones to 0 semitones, sorry. So it sounds like this without the pitch automation. And here how it sounds with the pitch automation. And yeah, it's everything else is just some samples that I stack here and there. There's a couple of vocal that I stack, 2 vocals that I stack. And there's like an FX sample here that I put every, like, I don't know, is it like 2 bars or 4 bars? Every this square I put this one, like squeaking sample. And the bass I made here is from a sample from Technolight's splice also. And yeah, it's not that complicated if you see the project, huh? My approach when I start a track, basically, most of the time I start a track from the drop part. So most of the times I get this idea on my head, like I was humming the drop groove or something like that, and I was like, okay, maybe I should create something like this for the drop. Once I found that the drop is good enough, and then I started continue working on the build up on the verse and everything else until it become a track. So I guess that's it. But there's times also that I start a track from scratch from the vocals, like Make You Mine. Actually, I started Make You Mine with a friend of mine named Tisha. She also the one who sang Make You Mine, and we were just like playing guitar and like jamming to us jamming to her favorite song. And then she was like, dude, maybe we should like start a song together. I'll write the lyrics and I can sing on it, and you can do the instrumentals. How's that sound? And then yeah, let's do it. So yeah, it can start from a sound. It can start it can start from the drop. It can start from the vocals, like I did with Make You Mine. But most of the time, I start project from the drop. I used iPhone's voice recorder to record the vocals on phone call part 2 right here.
Don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, as I told you earlier, I recorded it with my iPhone voice recorder. Yeah, that's actually I used to be that kind of snob who thinks like producers who use samples are like mediocre producers who don't know how to write shit. I used to be that kind of guy, but right now I'm just like, hey, who the fuck cares? As long as I bought the samples, as long as the samples I get legally, I can use it however I want and whenever I want. And actually, a lot of my stuff, a lot of my drums actually, I got it from samples. I will show you the Make You Man project after this, and maybe you will be amazed about how many samples that I use on the track. So yeah, I don't really care about people that says that it's not good for us producers to always use sample, as long as you get that sample legally. The growth speed, yeah, I think I used it on, wait, I forgot.
Don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, I used it here. So I put a growth speed on my master channel, but I only turn it on here. So what it does, it creates like a whole DJ final effect, like a tape stop effect. Here, let me show you. Yeah, but it only turns on when I want it to be on. So I put automation here for the growth speed to be activated right here, but it goes off from there and before there. So I think, if I'm not mistaken, this was preset that I found like 4 years ago, maybe a preset from Virtual Riot Sample Pack, because I used to make a lot of dubstep back in the days, and to be honest with you, I'm not really good at sound designing process. And I think this was a sample, no, a preset that I tweaked, and it just ended up sounding nice, so I'm just gonna use it. And yeah, let's get back to the project here. So the effect racks that I use on my lead drop here, but let me show you. Oh, it's quite a lot actually. I just realized. I think the gross bit, it's only activated in some certain points of the track to create a certain tape stop effect. The same effect that I use here, back here. And then we got EQ over here. I just cut a little of the high frequency here, just to take out that harshness of the sound. And I put OTT here with 28% of depth, and LFO tool to create that like vibration effect. Because if I turn off the LFO tool, it would sound like this. Yeah, it sounds like the original phone call, which I released back in 2018. So I put this LFO tool just to sound like it sounds like more like harsh and more groovier, I think, than the way it was. And this EQ, the second EQ here, I think it was only activated in some certain of parts, just to balance out the high frequency with the other instruments. I think it's activated somewhere in, yeah. So yeah, the EQ here is only activated in this part, in this automation only. Oh yeah, because in this part the lead is 1 octave higher, right? So I gotta make sure the frequency over here is not too overpowering, so I gotta take it down, but only in this high octave part. In this lower octave part, I didn't turn it on. You see here, it's turned on. It's turned off, but in here it's turned on.
Don't pick up the phone.
And the brass that I used here, it's actually from Samarix that I pitch. Actually, I don't remember I used a certain effects on my master though. I put a down sample in this one, but I'm not sure if I think I was just like experimenting about how if I put down sample effects in my master and put it inactive in some certain parts, but I don't think that I use it for my final product, so I guess it was just sitting there because I was experimenting with it. So yeah.
Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring.
So how I create the groove Okay, let me show you how I do my drums here. Let me just solo my drums. It's actually pretty simple. It's just like 1, 2, 3, 4 parts. It exists of kick, hi-hat, a top loop, and a snare, plus the 808 that I use here. Yeah, this is one of my favorite top loops that I use all the time. The bass here is actually a sample that I got from Taking a Light Splice sample pack, and this is the effects process of my 808. I only distorted a little, only like 50-60%, and I put EQ to cut out the high frequency here, and I put another OTT to multiband compress it, and I don't know, I just maybe like randomly put out some EQ here. And this stereo enhancer, I use it all the time just to sidechain my my 808 and the other channels that I want to sidechain to my kicks. So what I do is I assign the volume knob here to the sidechain tracks that I got in here in channel 8 in my Fruity Peak controller. So what it does is every time my sidechain tracks hits, the volume on my stereo enhancer goes down. Yeah, it's just a regular sidechaining process, I guess. And my workflow, yeah, as I stated earlier, I usually start out the track from doing the drop first. So, but what I do earlier is figuring out how the groove would be sound like. Maybe I would start up by like writing the bass and then choosing the right samples or tops, or yeah, something like that. The vocals here is also from the sample, the same sample that I use in the pre-drop here.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Wait, let me solo track here.
Telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan. Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Yeah, it's also Indonesian, so I guess you guys don't know what it means.
Layanan pelanggan.
And then I double this sample with another same sample,
Layanan pelanggan.
but I pitch it down maybe like -7 semitones. Yeah, it's -7 semitones, so it creates like a robotic effect like this.
Layanan pelanggan. Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Just let it roll, don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
Yeah, and then we go back to the
Don't pick up
vocal
the
part.
phone. Just let it roll.
There's really nothing different here than the first vocal part here.
Don't pick up the
I think I added another vocal sample. Oh yeah, this one.
Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
Oh yeah, and I only use the lower octave of the flute sample in the first part here.
Don't pick up the phone.
And I go back using the original flute sample in the second part here, just to make it a little bit more interesting and not repetitive. What's the kick sample? Okay, this is the kick sample that I use. It's a very old sample that I found from my friend's sample pack. Yeah, I kinda had it 5 years ago. I don't know what's the name of the sample, but I think it's this one, the Maverick Ultimate EDM Drum. I think this has been my go-to kick for a very long time.
Just let it ring, don't. Just let it ring, don't.
I never actually tuned my drum. I just like pick some samples here from my sample pack on which drums that I think the best, and then I just put it in my project. I never like tune it to the same pitch with my whole project, some stuff like that. Actually, I spent maybe like 2 months working on this track, because initially the original phone call was made in 2018, right? And then my management had a plan of, what about if we do something like phone call VIP or phone call part 2, because the original song did some good damage on the industry. Like Skrillex played it, Mala played it, and I said, yeah, maybe that will be cool. And then so I started doing the phone call part 2 project, and it always ends up like, when you want to work on the project, but you already had that high standard, yet that you have to achieve something that better from your previous project. That's the kind of problem that I had when making this phone call part 2, because I know like the original phone call had so much success that Skrillex played it, Mala played it, GTA played it. So yeah, that's kind of what makes the project took so long to be done. This is one of the longest tracks that I made. What do you mean by my pitch LFO goes crazy at it? I don't know. Do you think? The vibrato. Yeah, it's because of this LFO. I assigned this LFO to this coarse pitch modulation, so when it came to the end of the lead, it goes vibrating like the way it is in the LFO. So that's what makes the vibrating sound in the lead. So I hope that helps. And let's pick where we left off. Yeah, and this part of the vocal, I pan it out left and right to make it more interesting. Here, let me show you.
Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
So it's just a simple panning there.
Don't pick up the phone.
Oh, I think I doubled the vocal width.
Don't pick up the phone.
No, I don't think so.
Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
And here's the second build up to the second drop.
Don't pick up the phone.
I think it's completely the same with the first build up before the first drop.
Don't pick up.
Nothing really different. So what I do here, obviously I delete the kicks, so it sounds, the kick only sound here and here, but I put the sidechain here. This 3 is the sidechain, but no kicks, and same as here. So that's why the lead goes duck down. The volume of the lead gets sidechain, but there's no kick because I only put the sidechain trigger here, but not the kick. And the lead, I just put it down 1 octave, I think. Yeah, I just put it down 1 octave lower. Yeah, maybe some of you haven't heard the original phone call, so I'm gonna play it to you here.
Don't pick up the phone. Up the phone. Up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi.
Yeah, as you can hear, it's not really different from the phone call part 2 because I don't want to like ruin the original soul of phone call because I like that song so much that I don't want to like ruin it just to create something else different. So that's why the only thing I did in this song maybe it's just like putting the LF on the lead and chaining the drums, and that's it. There's no really big difference between part 1 and part 2. And then swing on the 808, yeah. I put a lot of unquantized 808 for my bass, as you can see. Oh, the only unquantized part is only here and here. So yeah, I always put swing at my 808 all the time to make it groovy, you know. Yeah. Actually, yeah, maybe you can say that. Like, if I get stuck at producing tracks or whatnot, I will be like, okay, maybe it's not the right time for me to make music at all. So I just go out, hang out with my friends, do something else, until I find that inspiration to make music again. So that's why I never like push myself to like, okay, this one I gotta get like 5 tracks to be done. No, I never think like that. I just like, okay, maybe I want to make a track like this. Okay, maybe I want to make a tech house track that has drop that sound like this, etc. Something like that. Yeah, the process on the vocals, let me break down to you guys better. I will break down to you guys once again here.
Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
Which channel is
Don't
that?
pick up the phone.
Wait. 39.
Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up.
Yeah, so this is how it sounds without the effects.
Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
What I did is I put some chorus in here. So what I do, I didn't put any, I didn't touch anything in here at all. I just like straight up put the chorus in here, and yeah, that's it. And the EQ, obviously, I boosted up the high end because the original sample doesn't have a lot of high end.
Don't pick up the phone. Don't pick up the phone.
At least for my taste. And then I put compressor after the EQ. Like this. This is the setting for my compressor on the vocals. And then the reverb.
Don't pick up the phone.
And then this delay, as you can see, it's turned off. It's only gonna be on in certain part of the song, like most of the other samples. And the Isotope Ozone 5 Dynamics, this is for I use this for to compress the only high frequency here. So this is the multiband compressor made by Isotope that I think it's really great. I always use this when I want to de-ess my vocals or some other samples that I think have like harsh high frequencies. So yeah, that's pretty much it for the vocals. Yeah, a lot of times I check my mix and my master with my Sennheiser, but my main monitors are Genelec, the old Genelec, which is, I think it's 8 inches, maybe it's 8040A, Genelec 8040A, a pair of that, and a Sennheiser HD25. That's my gear to mix and master and check my tracks. My favorite plugins to spice up a lit sound, I guess it's really not much. What I usually do to beef up the sound is EQ the sound first to make sure which part needs to boost, which part you need to cut, and then after that you need to multiband compress it, maybe with OTT, or I don't know, in Ableton you got that built-in OTT, right? I don't know what that thing called. And that's pretty much it, man. Yeah, actually this bassline is what I use in almost all of my recent released tracks. It's actually just a simple taiki kick that I distort an EQ and put it together with with the other drums. It's not really big deal actually. Like a lot of people asking like, how do you make that 808 blah blah blah. It's really simple actually. It's only a click away from your splice. Go to Taikino Light, check out his kicks, and boom, you got it. No, I never use a template project. I always start everything from scratch. Like this. Like from empty. This is the only template that I use. Yeah, I guess I just write a random notes on my piano roll for my bass, and then I put up the kicks, And then maybe I would like fuck around, maybe like put it here. I guess you could say that I do it by my ear. Yeah, I think you're right there.
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
So the habit that I do when I mix my tracks is maybe I tend to keep my kicks and my lead to be the most loudest part of the project among the other channel. So I guess that's the habit that I do, I think. Yeah, actually using the same kick and sample a lot to your projects will create a trademark to your sound, and it helps to make the audience know that this sound is yours, like this is what makes your song, because what I always do on most of my project is I always use the same bass line and the hi-hat and the tops loops and everything like that. So
Don't pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
Terima kasih telah menghubungi layanan pelanggan.
Pick up the phone. Just let it ring. Don't pick up the phone.
So yeah, I guess that's pretty much it about the phone call part 2. And yeah, I produce mostly on my monitors, but sometimes I check my mix with my headphones also, so just for double checking. And my processing on the kick is, I think it's not that complicated. I think I only put an EQ in there. No, only filter. I didn't put anything beside a filter. And this filter only activated when in the end of the job, I think.
Don't.
Oh no. Wait. Maybe in this one. Well, it's not really working actually. I don't use it actually. Maybe I use it just for like experimenting, but I forgot to put it out. So yeah, I just like balance the volume of my kicks, and then maybe I made it a bit shorter. Yeah, I made it a bit shorter. So the original it sounds like this, but I made it a tad bit shorter in here. Yeah, that's all I did for the kicks actually. Not much. Yeah, the vocal was my friend's. I recorded her vocal with my iPhone. my gain of the cake. The level is minus 6 dp, as you can see here. See when I move the knob here, you can see. Yeah, it's around there. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it for phone call part 2 breakdown. Now let's move out to Make You Mine. I think it helps your workflow in terms of like you already know what you're gonna do when you open your DAW. You already got like your go-to samples and stuff. You already got your go-to bass and kicks. So it's kind of like a template maybe. So yeah. Here's what Make You Mine project looks like.
Come closer, I invite you, start shaking and moving. I need no closure. We both know what is going on and on. Where do you want? 'Cause I can seem to change your mind. In every single way you try to whisper me to stay, just for me to go. And I can't make you, 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 and I can't make you.
guess that's how this song sounds. So it starts with this extended mix, cymbal, drums, and loops that I use, samples that I use in the whole song.
Come closer.
So yes, some of you may know that I worked this track with Martin Garrix's alter ego, which is Yitram or Ytram. I don't know how to say it properly actually. And the vocal in this song was sung by my friend Tisha, and actually when I sent to Martin, the song was already finished, but I was not really sure about the verse. I was not really sure about the breakdown part, so I told him, hey dude, I think you can do whatever you like on the verse, but let's keep the drop same as the way it is. So yeah, as you can see here, there's some WAV samples. So I get this from Martin. These shallows is also from him. Wait, sorry. All the orchestral part that you hear in this song was made by Martin, and this was made by me. I think it's John Casey's sample pack. Yeah, it is. His samples are really dope. I use it a lot on my projects. I think you should check him out.
Come closer.
And here's the vocal. Here's the lead vocal.
Come closer. And body start chilling and moving you. I need no closure. Come closer.
So, wait.
Come closer.
I put a EQ here to cut down the frequency around 5700 to cut down the harshness of the high frequency, and I think the major processing was done in another project, or maybe it was done on Martin's computer. I forgot. It was like a year ago, almost a year ago. So, and then
come closer.
It got so many vocal layers. This is the part where she was like whispering almost. This is the track that I use for the whispering part. I'm not sure if the auto tune's on though. Wait. Compressor. Simple EQ just to cut the low frequency out. Reverb. I put reverb all the way up here because I want it to be like atmospheric feels almost. And this is for the sidechain, I guess.
Come closer.
And these are the first part of the vocal.
On and on, what do you want?
So in this part, I wanted the vocal to be sidechained to the kick, just because I like it that way.
on and on, on and on. What do
And here's another layer.
on and on?
Wait, which one is that?
Cause I can seem to change your mind. And every single way you try to watch my me to stay. On and on, what do on and on? What do
Here's the vocal doubles.
Cause I can seem to change your mind. And every single way on and on, what do
This is for the left channel.
on and on, what do
This is for the right channel here.
on and on,
So basically I have
on and on, what do you want? Cause I can seem to change your mind. On and on, what do you want? Cause I can seem to change your mind. In every single way you try to whisper me to stay, just for me to go. And I can't make you on and on, what do you want? Cause I can see.
so yeah, that's how I process the vocals mostly.
On and on, what do you want? Cause I can see to change your mind in every single way.
And I made this sound. I think I made it on Omnisphere. Yeah, it is from Omnisphere.
Change your mind in every single way you try to whisper me. And I can't make you and I can't make you and I can't make you and I can't make you.
So yeah, for the build up, this is the part that I like the most actually, because it has that drum break samples. Oh, wait, which one is that? Maybe it's this one. Yeah. Originally it sounds like this. But I just cut out the snare part because I don't want it to be interfering with my claps. And then I put a lot of riser, I think. And this is one of my favorite riser. It's also from Techno sample pack on Splice, because it has a note on that sample that I can adjust. So it adds another dimension of riser. And I hold the vocals I think I put washing effect also on the vocals here.
I can make you I can make you
Yeah. I put a washing effect on the vocals just to create that tension effect just before the drop. This is the build-up snare. So yeah, let's talk about this part before the drop. Oh wait, it sounds like this without the auto-tune automation. Is this one? So this is the vocals in the pre-drop. It it has a lot of processing. So on the top here, on the top of the shelf, I auto-tune the vocals like a lot. Like I put the retune speed to the fastest here to make it sound like T-Pain almost. And I put the Foreman to the right here, 128. And I put Camel Crusher to distort the things out, compressor, another OTT, and delay, lay it out a little, EQ, because I put it like this because if I open all up, it sounds like too dirty and too harsh, and I don't like it, so I just put it, I just found the sweet spot to be right here, so this is where I think that would fit the sound best. So yeah, let's talk about the drop here. So the structure is not really complicated, it's only kick, hi-hat, clap, the hat layer, and the 808 from the Taki sample, the same one that I use on my vocal patch project. Here's how the piano roll of the 808 look like. I put the swing part here. If it's quantized perfectly, it should be here, but because I want it to be a lot groovier, then I put it here, so it would sound more groovy. But if I put it here, it would sound like a more robotic kind of feel. Yeah, it's boring. So yeah. And for the first bar here, I put, this is vocals, I think. Yeah, it's a vocal chop and a press. This one is another vocal chop. This one is also John Casey sample pack. Man, I use a lot of his sample pack on this track actually. It originally sounds like this. I mean, it's supposed to be 154 in BPM in his original sample, but I made it to 126. This is the original sample sounds like. So I just cut out that part in here. And this one, I think, yeah, that's also from John Casey. Like I told you earlier, he made a really dope sample pack. So shout out to him for helping me out with this. And here's the original sample of the second part of the drop sound like. So I cut the part here and put a lot of delay. Here you can see the knobs, and put another EQ and sidechain at the last here. The the automation here is for the hi-hat, so it would make the hi-hat sound like a tape stop effect, like that. If I turn it off, it would sound like the original hi-hat. But I think it would be more fun to pitch it down every 4 bar and then this one is, yeah, this one is also from Casey's sample pack. So the vocals were recorded on her studio. Actually, Tisha has her own bedroom studio, and we wrote the track together. And then she managed to record the track on her bedroom, and yeah, I just kind of post-process it here on my computer. I don't know, man. I just like putting out what I usually like have the inspiration at my head first, and then I always try to visualize it on my DAW every time. So it's always something that has been planned out before. Mostly it has been that way for so long, so it's never I rarely like just like randomly twist knobs or randomly put samples and hopefully the thing would sound good. Most of the time are just like me imagining humming about how the drop sounds like, and then just firing up my computer and try to visualize what was on my head. And yeah, as you can see, it's really not that complicated. It's way more simpler than Fungal Part 2. And for this part of the vocal, I put the vocals. This is the same vocals in the pre-chop here, but in this one I put an LFO tool. Wait, where's that at? I put an LFO tool here. The LFO tool for the vocals is only activated here in this part, just to create that groove effect with LFO tool. And I pan the vocals left and right with this. You can see the automation. This is the automation for the panning. This is how it sounds if I turn off the pan and the LFO tool. So you can see some difference there. And I think I also put a growth speed on my master here. Oh yeah. Yeah. But the growth speed is only activated in some part of the track, just to put a tape stop kind of effect here. If I turn it off, it would sound like this. So to make it more interesting, I put a growth speed there to make it like a tape stop kind of effect. And in this second part of the drop, I put some vocal chops from the original vocals, but I pitch it up 1 octave. Wait. And put out the camel crusher and EQ and compress it a bit. So it sounds like this. I think I still have the project, but I forgot what's the name of the project because I always name my projects randomly. I often have a hard time to reopen my old projects just because I forgot the name of my projects. I think the thing that I know now that I wish I have known years back in the 5 years ago, maybe. Back in the day, I was too focused on sound designing, on trying too hard to be unique, but I was only focusing on how to create a unique sound on Serum. And I was like, I don't like using samples. I didn't like using samples that much back in like 2016, in my early days of making music, because like all of my seniors in my local music industry always talk to me like, yo, good producers never use sample, only like mediocre producers use samples. So I guess that stick to my mind until like maybe like 2-3 years ago, when I think like, come on, fuck it, like if I get my sample legally, then there would be no problem if I use it. That's what I think. So no, the 808 is from a sample pack by Taiken Light. Yeah, I use a lot of camel crusher to distort things out. And also, I got a little reverse vocal here to make the transition smooth. Wait. Yeah, I guess you can see here it's not really complicated. I mean, the drop is really long because I intend to make this track as a like tech house, so it doesn't change much from one point to another. So here's the second breakdown.
In every single way you try to was for me to stay, just for want me to go, and I can make you move, and I can make you move, and I can make you.
There's really nothing much different from here with the first part of the breakdown. Yeah, actually, I was worried about like maybe I made this song sounds too lazy because it feels empty at the first, but as I work on it on and on, I found out like maybe I can fill this part with something. Maybe I can fill this part with something. You know, it's just like a hunch that came to me. So I was when the drop was empty, when the drop was only like this part, I was ripping this whole 8 bars like on and on and on. And then I was thinking maybe like in this part I can feel something like this. I was like humming in my head and just like try to find some nice samples to try to replicate what's going on in my head. And then when I satisfied with this part, I move out to this part. And then I thought maybe I can fill this part with something like short but still interesting but not repetitive. So yeah, I guess that's the process. Because back in the day when I made Bass House, it's always like full of energy, like always dynamic, like in 4 bars you get this sound, and the next 4 bars you get that sound, and the next 4 bars again you get another different sound and stuff like that. My older songs were so dynamic, but in this recent times I like to
Make your music stand out, get more views, and way more engagement. Bring your music to life. Get Music Visualizer. In every format, even for social media. Get started today. The link is in the description.
keep things simpler. So yeah, I guess that's it.
I can make you move, and I can make you move, and I
Actually, it's all thanks to my management though. So, my management always send my music around. When I finish maybe like 5 or 6 tracks, I put it on a private SoundCloud link, and I ask my manager to maybe like send it around to labels. And apparently, Martin heard the Need You and Make You Mine, and he decided to hop in to Make You Mine for a collab. So he sent me a direct message on Instagram asking like, "Yo, dude, I like your music, and I heard Make You Mine. Do you mind if I jump on it for a collab?" Blah blah blah. So yeah, and then we just shared our numbers. So we talked on WhatsApp. We had a video call and blah blah blah. And yeah, he changed the whole breakdown, the first and second breakdown, because the original Make Your Mind doesn't sound like this, the breakdown part, but the drop part is the same. So I guess, yeah. Tips from me to get support from big names is just like, maybe it's cliche, but I guess it's true. Just like, try to be unique, try not to be somebody else, and try to find your own sound. To like, if you always try to copy somebody, the best thing you can do is just to be the second best of that person. So I guess just try to be yourself, try to find your own sound and signature. And yeah, I guess that's it. Actually, I approached by management back in 2019, early 2019. I think it was because of the phone call track. They liked my music because of phone call, and they reached me out via email, and then yeah, everything just snowballed on from there. Yeah, Goran. Shout out to him. My approach on transitions, I tend to use delays on a hi-hat like this one. If you can hear, there's a delay on my hi-hat before the fill. Wait, let me solo the hi-hat real quick. Yeah, if you notice, I always do that on my songs. Like almost all my songs, I always do that. And maybe put like 4 crashes. Wait. And put some drum fills, but I don't do that in this song. I mean, you can do whatever you like for the fill in, man. It's actually like to make a fill in like this is like a chance for you to make your song not sound repetitive, you know. Because imagine if this drop had like 32 bars and there's no fill in whatsoever, it would sound so boring. Yeah, hopefully, man. I always wanted to tour in the United States, like back when I started this project. It's always been one of my grand goal. Hopefully, fingers crossed. So for the second project, for the second drop, I didn't do much. I only deleted the top loops here. It was supposed to be like this, but I deleted that, and I deleted the clap here, and I changed the 808. Initially, it was like this, but I changed it to be straight like this, just to make it sound like boom, boom, boom. The rest is the same. That's the only difference. Everything over here. Okay, this vocal has also a level. Oh yeah. Maybe in the future. I would love to break down Nichu and Maiden Press edit. How did you process the kick and bass to glue them together without them clashing? Yes. I guess it's just a simple sidechaining process, dude. Like, there's nothing complicated about this. just my kick here. With this is my sidechain trigger, which is muted because this only triggers the sidechain. I actually didn't EQ my kick like at all. This one's only for like certain part of the track. That's why it's turned off. And here you can see. So basically I don't put anything. I just put down the volume to balance out the volume with the rest of the channels. And for the 808, I just put a simple distortion here from Serum Effects, the tube distortion. And then the EQ, I counted the high frequency, and this one is only activated in certain parts, so it doesn't count, I think. And the reverb is also only activated in some certain parts. And lastly, the sidechain. So yeah, that's it. All made with stock plugins in FL, except for the Serum Effects. And yeah, I guess that's pretty much it. So that's how I made my track Making Mine, which I made with Y-Tram and Tisha. If you guys have any more questions, just go ahead. Which vocal chops do you mean? Is it this one? Yeah, the Drinks on Me collab was... So, the story is, I found his music maybe like 4 months, 5 months ago. I found out from my friend. He sent me a music. I think it was Drinks on Me's EP on Noise Oblong. The track title was Turnip. It was so good and unique. You guys gotta check him out though. He's really dope producer. And so yeah, I just like straight up messaged him on Instagram like, yo dude, I like your music, I wanna work on music together. And then yeah, here we are with Bleu, Clair and Drinks on Me hit list. I mean, it varies a lot. Sometimes I only need like one whole day for me to finish a track. Like Hypnotize, it was one of the track that I finished the quickest, and it can take up to like 2 months, like Phone Call Part 2, just because I had this creative block, and it really varies, man. So the settings on my 808 sampler, yeah, I didn't really put anything. It's just like default setting, I think. Drum bus processing. Actually, I don't mix with like I I don't route everything in one channel. I just mix in separate channels. So I explained to you earlier about how the rack on my kicks was, and it was really nothing. It's just like a couple EQ that not active. And for my head loops, it's only EQ just to cut down the lower frequency, and the reverb is not active, as you can see here. It will be activated in certain parts, like the other samples, some other samples. For the clap, I think it's layered. Okay, it's a layer of clap and snare layered together. Oh, I think I cut down the snare. Yeah. This is how I cue the snare. This is how it sounds without the EQ. And I think I shortened it. Yeah. The original, it sounds like this for the snare, but I made it short like this because I just want the low mid frequency right here. This is the clap. I just shortened the sample to this bit. This is the original. Yeah, so that's how the snare. And for the main hi-hat, I think I only EQ it like this. I cut like a little bit on the top to make room for the other instruments to go in. And the delay is not activated, as you can see here. It only activated in the end of the 4 jump up drops, like this. And yeah, that's how I process my drums basically. Actually, I started making music. I started downloaded FL Studio back in 2012. I think it was FL Studio 8. The reason why I wanted to make electronic music was Skrillex, because I found out about Skrillex maybe like 2012 when I found out about his Scary Monster and Nice Sprites EP. And I was like, whoa, how the fuck this dude can make this kind of sound? And I was just curious, so I just like go straight up to YouTube, go to Google how to make dubstep, and then yeah, so I downloaded FL Studio and I learned a lot from YouTube, from online producer forums, from my local producers community here in Indonesia. And yeah, I think it's been 8 years since my very first time of downloading the DAW. Okay, so this is how I master my tracks. Wait, I think it's... I was going to show you guys on Phone Call Part 2, but I forget, so let me open up the Phone Call Part 2 project one more time, just to show you guys how I master my tracks. It's basically the same process that I do for all of my tracks. I only use Isotope Ozone 4 for mastering. So here's my Oh, Ozone 5, sorry, it was not Ozone 4. So what I do is just I use a built-in preset in Ozone 5. It's this preset, drum and bass and breaks master basic, and I close it, and I move on to the maximizer, and I change the mode to IRC3, and I change the character to clipping, and I turn on the stereo imaging, and I change this band with 40% width, this one with 20%, this one I change to 0, and I turn on the equalizer. I just want to make everything below 200 Hz to be mono, because you don't want to have your sub bass, your kicks to be sounding stereo. You want it all to be mono. And then you move back to the maximizer, and then loop to the loudest part of your track. And then just put down the threshold to how loud you want to be. And then for the metering process, I use Wave Candy. This is a metering plugin built in from FL. You can change the metering mode to RMS right here. You can measure how loud the track is. So yeah, I guess that's it. That's how I master my tracks. That's how I always master my tracks. It's always been the same process with Ozone 5. I always emphasize on people that you must focus on your mixing first, and then you can focus on mastering, because how good your mastering skill is, if your mixing is still bad, then your outcome will be still bad, At least that's what I understand from my side. That's what I believe in. I'll always try to make my mix down to be as good as possible, and then I move out to my mastering.